Mavrovic. Probably the first jab of Lewis. Snap.
Whoa, a good right hand by the Mavrovic.
Yep, Lewis backs Mavrovic up. Another right hand knocks him into the corner.
Most bump into him. When you miss him, let him feel your big body.
I think Lewis trained to fight about a minute. Ultimately wasn't able to put Briggs away until the
bit of conceit that he does not have to start the fight off and land the first punch. That gets him into a lot of trouble. As you can see, his opponent came out.
Landed more than 60% of the punches he tried in round number one. Zeljko's accuracy might be as high, though he's not throwing as many punches. By CompuBox numbers in round number one, Lewis was 14 of 43.
You're just going to have to take charge. Make him back up for a couple of rounds. Maybe we're just starting to take charge with his jab a little bit.
So you're saying that Mavrovic is fighting as though he has no fear of Lennox?
He has no fear. As a matter of fact, he's going to the body.
Now, when Mavrovic moves to his left, and in the fights that we saw on tape, George, he seems to move almost exclusively to his left when he moves sideways.
You ought to be afraid in a few rounds. First few rounds. But he is actually stepping with his jab. He pushes off on his right foot and steps in as though he wants that jab to
cut over the right eye of the challenger. I don't know how bad it is yet, but I do see some blood.
Now Lewis is starting to use his height advantage a little bit. He jabs, and he doesn't step too far back. Just stay there.
Solid jets, a cut above the right eye would be a first.
And Lewis is giving his opponent a lot of confidence. Unnecessary, he's going to make it rough for him because backs up. You don't want to back up.
Is Lewis showing too much respect to Mavrovic?
Too much respect, and this it creates a tough fight for you. Make him back up most of the time. Step forward with your jab, bumping with your big extra weight. Make him decide, hey, I'm getting tired. I got to move out of the way.
Looks like just a tiny pinhole cut above Mavrovic's right eye, but it is above the eyelid. So if it widens and blood flows, it could conceivably affect Mavrovic's vision. On the jab side for Lewis.
Lewis goes wisely back to the body with his jab.
On rare occasions, Lewis will flash the left hook. That was such an important weapon for him in his win over Tommy Morrison a few years back.
Step back, step back.
Stewart would probably like to see more of the left hook from Lewis, but basically, let's face it,
to change this fight around.
Well, he's not busy enough to be winning rounds.
Am I saying that correct? He goes back to the corner. He's facing some adversity. Now he knows, hey, look, I better pull it out. They're not going to give me anything.
You're doing a heck of a job on the Mavrovic, George. There's the jab of Lewis. Snap.
Whoa, a good right hand by the Mavrovic.
Yep, Mavrovic came over the top of that right hand. Zeljko Mavrovic, probably the first vegetarian to fight in a heavyweight championship fight.
Let him out.
His macrobiotic diet consists of fish, vegetables, and fruits.
Now the left jab starts to double up with Lennox Lewis. He doesn't do anything afterwards. You got to jab, and then secure your position in the ring so that the other guy backs away.
Why not? A noted chess player went away from the ring, has played 3 rounds of chess with Zeljko Mavrovic here. Hard right hand over the top by Lewis, backs Mavrovic up. Another right hand knocks him into the corner. Most aggressive posture so far for Lewis.
That's a no-no, man.
I think Lewis should try to win the fight and let the knockout happen by itself.
Right uppercut lands for Lewis as Mavrovic was coming in.
It looked lackadaisical. They had a 2-1 Lewis. But I want to tell you, in the 4th round, he's certainly picking up the pace. I mean, he's fighting a different fight altogether.
Don't move back afterwards. Slide forward. But to the left a little bit.
Problem with Lewis, George, is he's got those side
hook by Mavrovic. And another left hand.
Stop, break.
So just as other Lewis opponents have found him easy to find in there, guys have landed. No, it's not busy enough. Right hand over the top, glancing land for Mavrovic. Lewis ties him up. This has been by far the most aggressive round in the fight for the champion, Lennox Lewis.
Mavrovic is doing a good job, you see.
Coming at him as he does, as we know he would. What do you see happening there? Is Lewis not prepared for that kind of pressure?
I think so. It just the opponent tonight is unpredictable. He's come in a lot lighter. Lewis has evidently been training with bigger guys, so he can't get the rhythm on this guy. He's a little quick. It's going to take a moment. You got to bump him and bump into him and let him feel that extra weight that you have.
Copy box for Mavrovic. Hard uppercut snaps Mavrovic's head out.
Let him go.
Lewis can win this fight with his left jab. I don't know why he doesn't continue to throw it. Doesn't need the extra power that he keeps tumbling in like that.
Well, he often forgets to throw the jab as frequently as his trainer Emmanuel Stewart would like for him to, and when he fails to throw
Good
the
right
jab,
hand by the challenger.
has been the case here. All he has to do is throw it. He doesn't even have to land, and it chokes off his opponent's punch output.
Correct.
You know, the reality is that Lewis is landing almost all
Good body shot. Right hand to the body by Lewis.
hard punches. That's about as good a
And goes straight through the guard of Zeljko Mavrovic. One of the dangers when you have the kind of thunder in the right hand that Lewis believes he has is that you start out right hand crazy and stay that way. That's why you
Good body shot by Lewis.
He's showing more of his weapons in the last round and a half.
And plus, he's bumping this guy. He's using his extra weight. Bump into him. When you miss him, let him feel your big body.
Landed another right uppercut as the
before. That was just a replay of the uppercut. Goodbye body shot.
Lennox Lewis' corner gave him some good advice. Said this guy does not
to about zero as Lewis attacks and lands another uppercut. Low blow by Lewis.
High break. Stop.
a couple of rounds. In a lot of rounds, you move, take care of yourself, and then wait and come on again later on. Now he's using those big, long arms. When the challenger throws, he just throws his arms up.
Break, break.
That body punch of Lewis changed a lot of stuff there.
And Mavrovic has been trying to hide a lot more ever since that body punch.
It takes a while sometimes these big guys hit you around the ribs.
Break.
And the advantage for Lennox Lewis is that he's fought in Europe a lot. So he's accustomed to that stand-up style. And doesn't get prepared.
Mavrovic hardly threw any punches in that round.
October brings to HBO a month full of
If he was conceding.
He only threw 15.
And I think
Come on, stop
Mavrovic
punching.
should move
Break,
around
step
there.
back,
Let this guy, let him
Step back, man.
feel the consequences of being out there for 2 more rounds and then jump back on Lewis.
As Lennox is raking him, he hit the
Stop.
body with the left
Break.
hook and now just landed another uppercut.
But defense to penetrate.
Hard left
did.
hand lands for Mavrovic. Flush on the jaw of Lewis. May have done nothing more than to wake the champion up a little bit. 2 uppercuts landing flush for Mavrovic. And another, and a right cross, and a left hook. And suddenly it's all Mavrovic as he lands flush on Lennox Lewis with a series of combinations. And now Lewis cuts loose with a right cross that backs Mavrovic back up.
Stop, stop, stop. Break.
Boy, that's when it gets to be rough when a guy 240 somewhat pounds starts leaning on you.
A stiff right. And you heard Emmanuel Stewart saying to Lewis, get him out of here. Lewis didn't like what happened in that.
There it is. He lands the left hook this time.
There we go, 4 shots that time.
There you go. Combination landing on the face of Mavrovic. Another uppercut lands for Lewis as he lures Mavrovic into coming forward.
Every now and then Lewis does nothing, so why shouldn't he throw something?
Lewis actually blocked a punch that time.
Stop, stop. Let him go.
Mavrovic
Lennox.
landed the second one.
Hand.
Yeah, and when he sets his feet as wide apart as is sometimes the case, he isn't 6'4" anymore.
No, why be 6'4" and don't use it?
Break.
Right hand by Mavrovic,
Watch out,
uppercut
camera
by
down there,
Lewis
Buster.
answers.
Emmanuel Stewart said that this challenger.
His toughest opponent since the Mercer fight, and a lot of people laughed at that, particularly considering the fact that there were no shortage of pundits who picked Andrew Golota to beat Lewis a year ago before Lewis knocked him out in the first. But Mavrovic has been difficult for the champion. Low blow again by Lewis on the offside. Well, Evander Holyfield went 12 rounds with Vaughn Bean last weekend. Didn't knock him down until the very late rounds. Lennox Lewis.
All the way back.
Well, so in case you're wondering whether the scoring might be close going into the 10th round, you would note that
Close at all. Even in that big 7th round that Zeljko Mavrovic had, at the end of the round, Lennox blasted him with a right hand that had Mavrovic so hard he was hanging on for dear life. I got it 8 rounds to 1, 89-82. Lennox Lewis.
Stepping back.
there's another flush uppercut.
Let him go, Lennox. Doesn't say much about Mavrovic.
And so tall he can see you when you duck. And he keeps his left hand low and right hand low. Sometimes he'll come right back up.
Let him go. Break. Stop.
Tempting fate is Lennox Lewis.
You really got to be careful when he decides to pick him up to his chest. Now Lewis is starting to coast a little bit. He's boxing and striking.
Danger for whom?
Lennox Lewis, because he's coasting without anything in
Originally, posting on what would appear to be a solid lead on the scorecards against Zeljko Mavrovic.
He's playing with fire, dropping his hand. His hands.
Jelena Balabanic not quite as happy as was the case back in round. Most effective body shots ever in this fight. Of course, he's had a lot of rounds in which to do it.
And the guy's tall enough so he can have a long waist.
Stop.
Mavrovic himself has only been in the 12th round one time. So if in fact this round completes, then a minute and a half from now, both fighters will be going to the 12th round for only the second time in their careers. Crowd applauds as they get a little action in the last 30 seconds of round 11. Mavrovic just doesn't have much left. All that much. Final round. This heavyweight title fight.
Come on.
First ever in the state of Connecticut. First in New England since Ali Liston II.
Now, Lewis is having some problems with his right eye also here. So I didn't see them work the inswell on it. This guy, you got to go broke. You got to go broke. If you're the challenger now, you just can't sit back and wait.
Lead there. That one lands hard.
He's making Lennox Lewis fight. Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, Lennox would be perfectly content to dance the rest of the fight at this point. But most of his fans and supporters came here not expecting to have to sweat out. Mavrovic's athletic qualities and his style of fighting pose problems for Lewis that frustrate the champion and lead to what we expect will be a 12-round decision rather than the knockout. Let's see how Harold Letterman scored the full 12 rounds.
Jim, I got it mercifully 10 rounds to 2, 118, 110, Lennox Lewis. I mean, you got to punch to win, and Zeljko Mavrovic didn't punch. He was lighter, quicker, faster. He jumped on top of Lennox Lewis, but he just didn't pull the trigger. Lennox landed the big shots. Lennox was the busier guy. I hated to see the heavyweight champion with his eyes all swollen like that.